Hello, hello, and we're back. This is Evolve with E, and I'm your host, E. We're continuing still with our Life Lessons Climbing a Mountain mini series. I think this is part 5. We'll go with this as part 5. This was originally supposed to be part 2 or 3 because it is one of the most powerful downloads that I've ever personally had, and it is still so hard to mentally revisit and talk about that point in time in my life. So we're going to honor that. We're going to acknowledge that I'm still grieving that part of my life. And I'm accepting that it's still something that I can pull wisdom from. And because of the power that I feel with that, we're going to allow for the full transmutation of that grief into wisdom and to create that space to sit with it and honor it now. So, gonna just dive right in before I talk myself out of it again. This goes back to the summer of 2024. 2024 was one of the most challenging years that I've had to date as far as embracing my inner knowing and acting in alignment with that. I've had far worse years, don't get me wrong, but in the category of acting in alignment with what I know to be best for myself and to go against that knowing, it was tough. I am not one that handles transitions gracefully all the time. I tend to like a routine. I tend to freak out a little bit when my life changes really dramatically all at once. And this was one of those situations where I graduated college and everything that I had been working to build over the past 4 years, all of the growth that I had made in my mental health journey, all of the spaces that I had built, the communities that I had built, everything that made me feel like me felt like it disappeared in an instant. It was also the end of a relationship for me, and it was just a really rocky transitional time. And that's where I find the downloads hit me the hardest, is when I'm in that void of the in-between and that liminal space and I'm trying to figure things out and the universe is trying to help guide me, but I'm clinging desperately to what I thought I knew and what I felt most comfortable in. I think it all started with that relationship ending. I couldn't clean break it as much as I wanted to. It was a situation where we both knew it wasn't working out, and it wasn't for lack of love. It was a really difficult choice for us to make, and I think that's why we couldn't clean break it. We're like, can we just be friends? Can we just be in each other's lives? I had been debating abandoning everything that I thought that I wanted in life just to be with this person. And I had convinced myself that I could do it. And then I would be like, no, I can't. Like, I have to choose me. And then I would be like, no, I'll throw it all away and do anything and everything. Big, like, in the dramatic, like, if you've been there, you know how it goes. Eventually, it came down to I can't abandon myself. So I chose myself after some time. I was at a really transitional place. I was at a really unsteady place. I was desperately trying to cling to the past. I was horribly scared of the future. I was horribly uncertain of the future. And I was invited on a hiking trip by a friend. I alluded to this trip in last week's video. This is the fire tower story. Ooh, the fire tower story. I love it. I'm excited to tell it now. This shit changed me. Okay, I still will cry about it sometimes, so let's see if I get emotional during this story. So last week I shared a little bit about the beginning of the hike. I had been invited on this hiking trip with a friend of mine. She had invited a childhood friend of hers, and the three of us were just going to spend a week or so hiking around, enjoying some nature, some good old-fashioned just girl time, outside in the woods, just, having fun, moving a little. Early on in the trip, we decided to do this one hike that my friend has wanted to do literally for like her entire life. And the way she talked about it, it sounds so cool. I'm absolutely down to do it. And so is the other person. So we have agreed, the situation, the circumstances are right this year. Let's go for it. So basically what it is there's this fire tower on the top of a mountain. And if you're unfamiliar with a fire tower, the purpose of it is exactly what it kind of sounds like. It's a tower on top of a mountain that they used to use way back in the day to station people up there to look for fires. And if they saw one, they'd sound an alarm. And because of their bird's eye view of everything, they could easily spot fires. So hence the name, Fire Tower. So I was unfamiliar with fire towers, and so hearing her describe it, I had no idea what to expect, but I was super duper excited. So she's saying, let's hike up the mountain, spend the night in this fire tower, and then we'll hike back down first thing in the morning. And if you understand like why I say the circumstances are right this year, it's a group of three. It's a group of three girls hiking to spend a night on the top of a mountain together. So it's not something you want to do by yourself. It's something you can probably do with like two people, but three's good. Three's good. We're good because it's public. You know, anybody could be up there spending the night. So group of three, let's play it safe. So we decide this is what we're going to do. Early on in the trip, we decide we're going to hike up, spend the night overnight in this fire tower, and then we're going to hike back down first thing in the morning. Fucking sounds awesome, right? We start on this journey, and because of us wanting to be there overnight, we need to get there before dark. We had a little bit of a situation early on in the hike where there was a miscommunication about the pace that we were going to need to go at. That got resolved, and we ended up making it to the fire tower, and shit was a little wonky, yes, but we got there, right? We got there. And when we got there, I think that's what really changed the vibe for everybody, was seeing this fire tower. It's a glass building. It is a white wooden tower that is 360 glass, and then the top is also glass. You can see everything, and you're on the top of a mountain. So you're just on the top of a mountain in like a glass building looking around you at all the different mountain peaks around you, and it's stunning. It is just, in and of itself, breathtaking. We had gotten there just in time. It is getting dark, it is getting cold, and we're like, thank God, you know, we're here, we made it, let's go. This is fucking awesome. I honestly know the way that I tell this story will not fucking do it justice. But we take our time, we get all set up in the fire tower, we unpack our bags, we get set up for the night with the remaining moments of daylight. The sun is starting to go down. My friend is like, hey, like, we're gonna wanna watch this. It's gonna be pretty cool. I'm super excited because, fuck, I've never seen the sunset from the top of a mountain before. Like, hell yeah. We get all settled in. Vibes are good again. It's cold as fuck outside the fire tower, but wind is whipping. It's the top of a mountain. There's nothing to break the wind up there. But I stepped out and I'm looking just around me. Mountain peaks all around me. The sunset, just the sky is just so vibrant with color. The sun itself is a glowing ball of orange and red fire. Like it is a ball of just red. It's beautiful. And I'm ready. I'm ready for the sun to set. I'm standing there. I'm ready for the sun to set and I'm watching it go down so slowly. And like if I watch it, like I see it slowly kind of moving, like over time, you know. But I'm just watching it. And I had been in such a rush to watch the sunset. And there's the sun, taking its sweet time to set. And like I said, because of just the unsteadiness of my life as I'm going into this trip, I'm in an emotionally vulnerable place, right? You know, like my life is changing. It feels like my life is crumbling around me. It feels like I have no solid footing on who I am or what I've built or who I've become. And it feels so much like the end for me and like what I had built. And it was, like I said, just really emotional. And I'm watching the sunset in its own time. And I have this whole moment where I come apart. I just start sobbing. And I'm like, oh my God. I cannot rush time. Time is. Nothing can change the passing of time. Me getting all anxious and worried I'm going to miss this sunset isn't going to make the sunset any faster or slower. The sun will just set. I can stand here and watch the sun and want it to go down faster, and I can want it to set faster, and I can put all my humanness on this, but it is nature. And time will pass in its own time. And I'm just watching the sunset, watching the sun slowly disappear behind a mountain. And I keep expecting this moment to be the last. I keep expecting every second that I'm looking at the sun and I see it sinking a little bit further, I keep expecting this to be the last moment that I see the sliver of that bright orange ball in the sky. And it's not. And the next moment, and the next moment, and the next moment. And I see it getting less and less and less. And what hit me in this moment in time had to do with my relationship at the time, where deep down I knew we were going our separate ways. We talked about it. We knew. And hence my impulse, my desire to abandon my path, to follow them. And because of us being unable to clean break, it felt like we were almost over, almost over, almost over. And with each passing moment, you know the end is coming closer. And so you're grieving that moment before it even gets there, but you're watching it unfold, and you know that there's nothing that you can do to prevent this from unfolding in the way that it needs to, in the way that time has manifested for this to unfold. And I'm, like I said, just standing there, sobbing, realizing that there is a divine path, there's a divine plan, and divine unfolding of things, whether it is the sun setting or two people's paths diverging. You can try to bend that with all of your will, but at the end of the day, nature will be nature, and the unfolding will unfold. Time will pass, and there's nothing that you can do to influence that. And it was both profoundly relieving and devastating to be like, the role that I play in my life is, yes, one of the creator, but I am also the creation. And so as much as I can work with the divine creator to co-create, there's only so much within my control. And I can't control other people. I can't control what other people's paths look like. I can be present in the moment and enjoy each second that I do have with this passing time. And so I'm grieving the sun setting. I'm grieving the end of life as I knew it. I felt empty. I cried until I felt empty. And I don't think these other girls knew what was going on. Like, I'm outside just fully coming apart on, like, boo-hooing on this railing. Like, absolutely coming apart. And if they know it, if they knew, if they saw it, God bless them. They pretended like they had no fucking idea. Because, like I said, I was just outside for like 5-10 minutes, just sobbing my absolute eyeballs out. With watching the sunset and it taking its sweet time, it brought me closer to there is a divine plan, in the sense that I have no guarantee that the sun will come up tomorrow. It has every other day. I'm pretty sure it's gonna come up tomorrow. But as I watch this sun disappear, I have trust it'll resurface. I have trust it'll come back. I'll see it again. And I'm not necessarily saying that that explicitly applies to relationships when they end, that you will see that person again, but in that there is an unfolding. There is a plan, and that requires trust in something greater than yourself. And that even if that something greater than is the rotation of the earth, it just rattled me to my absolute core in a way that hadn't hit before, where I was just sobbing and I'm like, there is a God. Like, I'm on top of a mountain, surrounded by mountains, and I'm watching this beautiful sunset over this. There is a God. So yeah, total come apart, yeah. I wish I could say that was the end of it. That's only half of it. So the sun sets, finally, the last slivers of that orange-red ball disappear. I compose myself enough to go inside because the bitch got so cold. That sun, let me tell you, even though it's going down and it's getting like weaker and weaker, when it finally disappears, shit, temperature drops crazy. So I run my ass back inside this glass fire tower, which did wonders to block the wind, but the whole thing's, you know, rattling and shit. We're inside. We're settling in for the night. I'm just contemplating what just went on inside my brain and whatever release my body just had. And as we're all in there, hanging out, we notice the moon start to come up on the other side of the fire tower. Lo and behold, it was a full moon that night. No one knew, but as the moon is coming up, it is casting its white glow over everything. And like I said, it's a glass fire tower. Walls, ceiling, everything is glass. It kept me up a little bit, just how bright it was. It's like having a spotlight over your head as you're trying to sleep. Watching the moon come up. Oh my God, off I go again, sobbing again, in front of the girls this time. And I'm like, I'm coming apart in front of the homies. It's okay. I'm gonna feel my feelings. Y'all get it. Y'all get it. Because the opposite is true. You cannot rush the unfolding of something. You cannot prevent paths from diverging. You cannot prevent the end of something that you know is coming to an end. And on the flip side, you can't stop the arrival of a new chapter. Whether you know it's coming or not, that new chapter is arriving. There's nothing you can do to stop the sun from setting. There's nothing you can do to stop the moon from rising. It is not within my control to prevent any of that from happening. So things will leave your life. Things will enter your life. And all you can do is be present and allow it to appear. Allow it to unfold. You cannot stop it. The significance of that for me, to see nature play out in real time, what I so desperately needed to be reminded of, honestly changed me. Like I said, it was my biggest coming back to, there is a God. There is a divine creator who is helping me understand. And I'm not saying that the sun set and the moon rose for me. I'm saying it just so happened to be that day. We just happened to be lucky. We just happened to be there. And I don't believe in coincidences. Since that day, it's hands off on the timeline of things. When things unfold, they unfold. When it's time for things to begin, they'll begin. When it's time for things to end, they'll end. It allows me to cherish the present moment in a whole different light. I can't go back to what was. I have no idea what lies ahead. It allows me to cherish people differently too. To know that you never know how long somebody's going to be in your life. You never know how long your paths will be crossed. Whether it's a perpendicular path you cross once, whether you're weaving in and out of each other's lives for a while, or if it's a parallel line and they're there forever. You never know. And so I cherish every moment that I do get to spend with the people in my life, while they're in my life, while our paths are close, while our paths are crossed. Because when it's time for those paths to diverge, you'll know it. And if you try to force it, people get hurt. You stray off your own path, and then it's a painful journey back to yourself once you realize that you've strayed off your path. That also allows me to fully show up in each of those overlaps. And knowing that the more myself I am, more that the people in my life will get to know and enjoy me for me while our paths overlap. And that it's so powerful to be yourself. You can spend those moments grieving the end, grieving the day when this person is no longer in your life, fearing the moment that this person is no longer in your life. And then when that day comes, when you look back on that time together, for me, I don't want that to be tainted with fear or tainted with the grief of knowing that one day I would be mourning them and now it's here and I'm mourning them. I would much rather be able to look back and think of the joy and the gratitude and how much fun we had and how present I was in each of those moments that I was with this person. And I have to say, I like the path that I'm on. And I'm really proud of myself that I came back to myself and that I've decided to walk my path. I like my path. I said it, I'll say it again. I like my path. I'm proud to be walking on my own. And so the biggest things for me about all of this, cling less to the present moment. Allow the unfolding of time. Cling less to things in general. We own nothing. We own nothing. We are here. We are merely passing time on this planet. We're on a big floating rock in the middle of space. We're here to experience. And when you focus more on experiencing and less on clinging to specific experiences, people, places, things, you're able to see different perspective, that things flow in and out of your life for a reason. There's something to be learned from everybody. There's something to be learned from every overlap. And whether there's somebody you keep learning from, or if there's somebody you learn one thing from, every person has their place. Every person has their time. Every person has their path. And trust that when you're being yourself and walking your path, the people who are on similar ones will appear beside you as they are choosing to walk their authentic path. You'll realize there's more people around you, and they may be not the people that you wanted to be there. I, for one, would rather let things naturally unfold than force things. And being on my path and being open about that allows people on similar ones to find me. My biggest takeaway, though, is trust that what's coming is already on the other side of the horizon, even if you can't see it yet. The sun had to set for the moon to shine in its full brilliance, and for me to really appreciate the fullness of the moon, the brightness of the full moon. The sun needed to set. And it's hard. It's really fucking hard to get to that state of surrender and allowing time and things to unfold. And I do have to say that it's worth it, because you do just take your hands off and experience life in a whole different light, where you know that nothing is permanent. You know that nothing lasts forever. And because of that, each moment is sweeter. Each interaction just means that much more. How lucky am I to be here? How lucky am I to be experiencing this life? How lucky am I to be feeling the feelings of a human? How lucky am I to be human? This helped me be less afraid of the passing of time, as I was able to accept the idea that the way that I feel influences fucking nothing. Nothing! Except my own perspective about it. And that the reality of things is that they're gonna be what they are. Do I have anything else to say about this? This is honestly, like I said, still, I didn't get emotional. I did not get emotional. But this is still something that's kind of hard for me. It's because it was such a profound moment of grief and letting go and acceptance and surrender. And I realized how hard I had been clinging. And I realized how scared I was of the hands-offness that the universe requires sometimes when you're stepping into a new chapter. And it made me feel relieved to know that the sun was going to rise in the morning. And that little act of faith, that little hands-off action, that moment in the fire tower also gave me just permission to feel. My body needed that release. My body needed that moment to know that it's okay to feel the overwhelm of a chapter ending and a new one starting. It's not supposed to be easy. You're doing something brand new, babe. It's kind of supposed to be hard and uncomfortable. Just being able to accept and acknowledge that it's a new chapter starting, and to give yourself the permission to be sad about it, is a huge step. And if you're there, I'm proud of you. I was in denial of it for so long, which is why I think it whacked me upside the head like it did. It's because I had been pushing it down. I had been in denial. I had been clinging desperately. I was scared that there was nothing better on the other side of that. And the universe told me to let go. There is. You just have to be willing to let go and receive. Let me tell you what, it behooves you to listen. Shit gets better. So if you're at a really big pivotal point in your life right now, if you're in the middle of a transition, and you're clinging to the past because you don't know what the fuck lies ahead, I, for one, am always one to advocate for take the jump. Take the leap of faith in yourself. You'll figure it out. Step into the role as co-creator. It's co-creating for a reason. It's working with the universe, with the divine, to allow yourself to be that channel of creation, and to know that you don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but just trusting it'll be better. I'm going to do a whole other podcast on this. I think I said that a couple weeks ago. Once this series is done, I'll do a little bit more on co-creating with the universe and that whole relationship and dynamic as a divine creator. If you're in that transitional part of your journey, it's okay. Feel your feelings. Allow them to pass through you. Transmute that energy into something that propels you in the direction that you're looking to go in. Don't let it derail you, but just use that as forward momentum to keep rolling. That's really all I have to say about this. You cannot rush the unfolding, babe. All you can do is be present. Yeah, that's all I've got for this week. Thank you for tuning in. It has been lovely. If no one has told you this week, I am proud of you. I love you, and the world is a better place with you in it. I hope your day is as beautiful as you are. It has been real.